Call this meeting of the Smith County Emergency Services District 2 to order at 6 p.m. Certify there is a quorum present. Commissioner Thornton is not here at this time, and so at this time we will go ahead and have a prayer and a pledge of allegiance to the United States and Texas flags. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today thanking you for the many blessings you've given us. Dear Lord, we just ask that you watch over each and every one of us as we go about our business of protecting the citizens of this great county. Dear Lord, just be with our families as we do these things. Dear Lord, just be with us as we tend to the business of the night. We make good and prudent decisions. Dear Lord, as always, we just thank you for the salvation that you give us and your grace. And all these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right. Item 3 is a recognition of guests and special presentations. And also note that Commissioner Thornton has just joined us at 6:02. I see James Stefka from AMR is here, Jim Spire from Christus EMS, Michael Pierce from UT, and our gentleman from Squires and Companies here to give us our deal. And if I miss anybody, I apologize. So anyway, all right, item number 4, public comment. We have anybody signed up for public comment?
Yes, we do. We have one.
Okay.
Cameron Barron.
Okay. Cameron? You'll have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon or evening. First off, I'd urge the ESD board to uphold the original wording of the new contract for the requirements of all officers serving on the VFD side and not extend the time frame of obtaining certifications from 1 year to proposed 2 to 3 year time frame. Chapel Hill requires the same certification, yet has failed to abide by them for some members. I'd also challenge the ESD board to look into the misappropriation of taxpayer dollars at Chapel Hill. Secondly, First Assistant Chief Moore is at the $30 per call when he has never renewed his TCFP after 2018. I lost the same certifications and was reduced to $5 per call. The training chief collects a $500 a month stipend, but puts little to no effort into coordinating regularly scheduled training. I challenge ESD to pull the training records, and it will reflect the lack of leadership and training we receive. At this time, I'd also like to announce that I'm stepping down from Chapel Hill. If any of y'all have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Anything else? Okay. All right. Item 5 is our consent agenda. Discuss, consider, and take any necessary action related to payment of accounts, bills, invoices, payroll requests, for reimbursement requests for other payments, transfer of funds, and amendments. Under 5.1, that's our normal bills that we pay every month. And if anybody has any questions about those, I think they were all pretty well in line with everything. I'd like to take them separately tonight if we would.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve to pay our bills under 5.1 in the amount of $1,537,190.31.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Domney to pay our bills under 5.1 for the amount of $1,537,190.31. I have a second.
No, second.
I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no, and that motion carries. 5.2 is the district credit cards. I think they're, I believe those are pretty well in line. Also, best I can remember,
Yep, I'll make a motion that we pay the district credit cards under 5.2 for $13,367.14.
okay, have a motion by Commissioner Thornton, we pay our credit card bills under 5.2 in the amount of $13,367.14. Have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Edwards. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. Okay, 5.3 is our contract payments, I believe. And I think there was one invoice that I saw that I had a question on, and it was from Amazon about a grill that was bought for Jackson Heights. It was coded out to fixtures and office furnishings.
I can speak on that. I believe that was actually in item 5.1.
Oh, was it? I'm sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
So after further review of that invoice, we kind of dropped the ball a little bit on that one.
Okay.
What the situation was, when we did budget, Tim got quotes from 3 different vendors. Amazon was the low vendor at that time. When he went to go do the purchase, he assumed they would still be the low bid, did not go back out. We've talked about that situation, and that won't happen again. So we have been buying the pellet grills, and we tend to buy the mid-grade. We don't go out for the most expensive, but we also aren't buying the cheapest, so they'll last a little longer. But that one shouldn't have been as much as it was.
Okay. All right.
But it codes out to office fixtures?
Fixtures and features, that's where it was actually line item budgeted.
Okay.
We did budget it under that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about that mistake. I thought it was down further, but anyway.
And if I can, I'll call out one other while we're on 5.3.
Uh-huh.
It's at the very end of 5.3, Stovall Court.
Mhm.
That one was supposed to be broken out to a new item called 5.4 for subscription renewals. This is a renewal of a current subscription, kind of a standard transaction for us of the year. There is no change in the terms, and the price is actually reduced over last year and is within line item budget. But that was supposed to be broken out to a new line called 5.4 for subscription renewals.
Okay. All right.
I'll make the motion that we approve our contract payments in the amount of $510,942.60.
Have a motion by Commissioner Dominant, we pay our contract payments in the amount of $510,942.60. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Thornton. Any other discussion or question? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. All right. Sounds good. Item 6, approval of the minutes of the October 23rd, 2023 board meeting.
Yes, I've gone through and reviewed those meeting minutes. We've made a couple of minor corrections and would make the motion that we approve those as corrected.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Dominic, we accept the minutes with the corrections noted and approve those minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Edwards. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. Okay. I gotta wait till this thing gets through. I hate it when it does that. Let's see if I can find the agenda here. Yeah, I got this one here. I just gotta get to the right deal, make sure I do it right. All right, item 7 is the fiscal year 23 investment report agreed upon procedure. Discuss, consider the presentation of Smith County investment report agreed upon procedure in accordance with step 12 of the district's investment policy for the year ended September 30th, 2023, and fiscal year 2023. Squires and Company LLP to present the AUP report for fiscal year 2023. So, you're up. Evening.
Everybody should have this report in front of them. This agreed upon procedures report it's the procedures is from the investment policy, but is being performed on the investment report for September 30th, 2023. The procedures in the report is what's bolded, and then some of the steps that we performed is under those bolded procedures. There's no differences or exceptions noted between the procedures performed in the investment report, except for the weighted average maturity. The research that we found said 29 days, and I believe the report said 28 days. But regardless, it is under the 365 days required by the investment policy. So for the procedures performed, everything was within the investment policy requirements. That basically concludes the presentation. If you have any questions, I will try to answer them. And the board does not have to approve this. I mean, you can approve this if you want to, but you're not required to.
But I think I'll note for all the rest of the board members, even the discrepancy they have in between the average maturity rate of 28 days versus 29 days is dependent upon when you pull that report, because we have things that are maturing constantly and reinvesting. So you could potentially pull it one day at 28, another day at 29, or even within the day, it may actually fluctuate a little bit. But so that within itself is not material at all. Is that correct?
From my experience, that the investment brokers like to tweak their information a little bit, kind of update it right after it's been released. So it's kind of common for them to kind of update their information later. So.
But anyway, everything that I've seen here and read through this says that our financial group has written and done everything that we have committed, charged them with, committed to, with no exceptions. So thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. All right. So, item 8, financial reports. Who's gonna handle that now, or are we just gonna, since Eric's ill, or Ken? Or Keith.
So Larry, were you gonna try to speak on it, or?
Yeah, I can speak very vaguely on it.
Okay.
I did reach out to Eric to try to get kind of an update on where we're at. The only thing that's of real concern at this point is, of course, the overtime. A couple of things that I'll point out too is that we've had some large payments made for tower lease and EMS maintenance. Those are one-time yearly payments, so it looks like we're trending to be over budget at the end of the year, but we're nowhere close to that. Those are one-time large purchases, that and under building maintenance as well, general building repair and maintenance. And that's just, that's on the budget versus actual comparison. Like I said, it's really just the overtime right now that's any concern.
Okay.
So there are a couple of things where we're already over budget. And you hit on one of them, which is account code 52002. Building content and accessories, budgeted $171,000, and expenditures year to date is $209,000, puts us $38,000 over budget. And I don't recall us having approved any.
Can you tell me that code one more time?
52002.
That's the insurance itself, and I really don't have an answer for you there on what that is. That is property content and accident insurance. So that may be as a result of That may be as a result of the increase in the insurance premiums that we saw at the last meeting.
Yeah, but again, I don't recall us having anything that was proposed to us that was in excess of budget. We were not total budget for the year. Anyway, we'll need to check into that one.
Okay.
50026, which I assume just goes along with the, which is, take me,
That's it.
find it as well. Yeah, it's under operating expenses, benefit workers' comp.
Workers' comp was another one.
Yeah, we're already hitting 188,000 out of the, so, no, almost half of our, probably around 45% of our budget this year already.
And I'm not sure how often we pay out workman's comp. That may be a yearly thing.
Okay. We're just,
I believe it's quarterly,
Quarterly.
yeah.
again, that would give an indication then that we're gonna blow past that budget significantly, so we'll need to look into that one, make sure that we don't. Accidental insurance 520023. Same thing, we already spent 12,700 out of a 21,950 budget for the year. And again, if it's a quarterly, then that would indicate that we're gonna see budget there as well. And then under rental equipment, 52008.
That one I meant to address. I can address that one. We'll be seeing a large return, an offset from the insurance proceeds. That's mainly the blocker.
About 126,000, I think is the nominal number.
So
we
I
should be
know
getting back.
that, I think there's, whenever I looked, there was only one or two other charges to rental equipment, and they were low dollar values. So once that's replenished from that insurance proceeds, we should be okay,
Okay,
which we do have to check.
okay. Yeah, that, I can't remember, the 126 may be the wrong number, maybe more than 168, okay. Okay.
Right.
Okay, that'll explain that one then. But anyway, we just need to watch those other ones closely and make sure that we understand really where we're at right now.
I've made note of those, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Anything else on item 8? Anybody has any question on? All right. Now we'll move to item 9, which is the Executive Director, Administrative and Financial Report. Are you gonna cover that one too, Larry?
I can cover some of the highlights out of the administrative report.
Okay.
As you see in front of you, we believe we've reached an agreement on the provider contracts. You'll be presented with further information on that a little later. The Pierce pumper from Sids Martin has been paid, and I believe we have it in hand at this point. I'll let Chief Greaser speak on that in his report. The 360 evaluations are close to getting started, or have already been started in some cases. You'll have some more information on that coming later. I'm gonna let Sherry talk about the Community Outreach Coordinator. And we have had some applications, although talking with Chief Greaser, it looks like that 20 is more like about 6 or so, once you really start looking at them. We have received the insurance proceeds, and that total is $168,531. And the new payroll structure, I'll let Sherry speak on as well. The apparatus renumbering and rebranding project has been started. In fact, they'll start the graphics on it Wednesday, so that will start.
All right.
Any questions?
No, I don't guess. That's 9.1, so I don't have any questions. Y'all have any other questions? Okay. 9.2, discuss, consider, and take action on the proposed paid time off policy attached for Smith County ESD's non-firefighting hourly and salary employees. We've all looked at the policy and everything, and if we approve it, we need to authorize the executive director to sign and formally adopt on behalf of the board the proposed paid time off policy for the ESD's non-firefighting hourly and salary employees. So, I don't know if anybody has any questions. Looks pretty good to me. Do you have any questions on it, Brent? Charles, you got anything on?
I'll make the motion that we formally adopt the PTO policy for non-firefighting employees and authorize our executive director to post paid time off policy for Smith County ESD2's non-firefighting hourly and salary employees.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Dominy to approve the paid time off policy for non-firefighting employees and authorize the executive director to sign and for the board. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 5.3, discuss, consider, and take action on the proposed work location policy attached for Smith County ESD salaried employees. And going back to 5.2, that was run past the employment attorney, Mr. Colder, and he did approve everything on that paid time off policy. He said it was within FSLA standards, so. Now to the work location policy. If we adopt that, we also need to authorize the executive director to sign and formally adopt on behalf of the board. So.
I don't have any comment to it.
I don't need
No
it.
comments here.
Okay, well, I entertain a motion to either approve or table.
I'll make a motion to approve the work location policy as presented under 9.3 and authorize the executive director to sign and formally adopt on behalf of the board.
Have a motion by Commissioner Thornton to adopt the work location policy and authorize the executive director to sign on behalf of the board. Have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Edwards. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 9.4, discuss, consider, and take action on the proposed date of December 18th, 2023 for the next regular board meeting. And the reason we do that, the fourth Monday would be Christmas Day, and I don't think any of us will be here Christmas Day, so we'd like to move it up 1 week to December the 18th. And so we'll just get everybody's input on that date and see if everybody can be here that day. I don't have a problem with it.
I'll make the motion that we move our regular meeting, board meeting for the month of December to Monday, December the 18th, 2023.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Dominy and a second by Commissioner Wilson that we move our meeting date in December from December 25th to December the 18th. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay, and that carries. 10, discuss, consider, and take action on the attached fiscal year financial statement audit proposal engagement letter received from Squires and Company.
Have a good bit of familiarity with this one, looking at it. And so basically we had talked about going out for inquiry on these in the past. But because of the new software we're using now and the complexities around it, we feel it's better that we retain the same person that has the familiarity with our system and with our accounting group to do one more year of audit for us. This is just our regular annual audit that we're asking them to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing new or anything else about it. And looking at an estimated fee of about $35,000.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll make that motion that we sign the engagement letter with Squires and Company and authorize the executive director to sign and accept on behalf of the Smith County Emergency Services District 2 for the audit proposal engagement letter.
I'll second.
I have a second by Commissioner Domney. Is there any other question or comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 11, discuss, consider, and take action on the attached investment policy audit proposal engagement letter received from Squires and Company.
So this one is a different audit that we're going to do, and it's because we have an investment policy which we've not had in the past. So, again, this is just going back to Squires, for nominal $2,900, but it's just to assure the public and all the board members that we adhere to our policy, and it also is a confirmation that I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right.
That's the important part, right?
That's exactly right. None of us want to be wearing stripes.
Yeah.
Well, I entertain a motion on that, and then we also allow the executive director to sign on behalf of the
So maybe-
district.
And second.
Okay. A motion by Commissioner Domney and a second by Commissioner Thornton. And authorize the executive director to sign and accept on behalf of Smith County as Emergency Services District 2 Investment Policy Audit Proposal Engagement Letter. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 12, discuss, consider, and take action to formally authorize the executive director to approve and sign all associated documents for the initial and implement of Regions Bank depository accounts and for the initiation and implement of district-issued commercial purchase cards issued by Regions Bank. It's my understanding that if we all had to sign the papers on this deal, it would probably take a month for everybody to get around, sign all the papers, so it would be my recommendation that we'd just let Eric be the one to sign them, and that way only one person has to sign them. We don't have to really worry about it.
For sake of full disclosure, we'll make sure that everybody understands that this does not allow Eric to
Do what you
move any funds outside of the district accounts. It still will require myself and Eric both sign off on it. So this is simply allowing him to facilitate the opening of the account. And it does not allow him to do anything other than what we've already authorized him to do or not do,
Right. It's just to get the account open and running.
and get these commercial purchase cards issued.
Right. Okay, I'll entertain a motion on that.
I'll make the motion that we authorize our executive director to approve and sign all associated documents for the initiation and implementation of Regions Bank depository accounts and for the initiation and implementation of district-issued commercial purchase cards issued by Regions Bank.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Domney. I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. All right, item 13, Director of Human Resources report.
Okay. 13.1 is the holiday schedule for 2024. It's actually the same holidays that we have this year for 2023, so there is no added holidays. I just need this to be adopted, and then each of you to sign it at the end of the meeting tonight.
It's my understanding that's the same holiday schedule that the county has, is that?
That's correct. It mirrors Smith County.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the 2024 holiday schedule.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Thornton that we adopt the 2024 holiday schedule as presented. Have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Edwards. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries. Okay, 13.2, workforce injuries for discussion only, no action to be required.
I didn't know if any of you had any questions.
Just have a couple
Mhm.
pre-existing that are still there,
Yes,
is that right? Okay.
yes. One is returning on 12/5, so that will only leave one at that point.
Okay. Good. Human Resources report under 13.3.
Yes.
Okay?
I don't know if any of you had any questions on it. I did want to point out just a few things. The EEO4 filing has been submitted. The TCC code that was required for our 1095Cs to be filed, that is in the process. I received the TCC code today, and now I need to proceed to testing, and that'll happen on the 10th, December 10th. So we should be in good shape to get those filed at the end of January, excuse me. And then the other thing I wanted to point out is we did receive 24 fire applications for the 12-hour shift positions. However, I believe we only have a handful that actually have all the required credentials, at least what we could vet at this time. So we're still looking at that. We do have agility and written test dates that have to be determined, but we have not determined that yet. So that's coming up. And I don't know if you had any other questions on the report.
UKG is still testing our 212, 28 payday cycle, but are they actually giving you any indication as to whether they're going to be able to facilitate
They
that?
say they're still testing it. The reason it's been delayed further is because they're approaching the year end and they're inundated with many different urgent requests, although I've told them that this is urgent for us. Yeah. But they are still testing it, but I do not, at this point, they have not come back saying that they can make it work yet. Yes.
Just please stay in contact with them and don't let them forget it.
No, I have not. In fact, I just had a meeting with them last week. So, yeah, on Wednesday, so.
All right.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions or Sherry? 14, Director of Support Services. 14.1, discuss, consider, and take action on the approval of funds for personal development at a cost not to exceed $97.30 and a funding request. And this is for a class that Eric and Larry would take over a 14-month period to become Texas Certified Public Managers, or Certified Public Manager Program, which, anyway, I guess, Larry, you can speak on that, I guess, since Eric's not here.
Yes, sir. Do y'all have any specific questions about it? The program is a really good program. It's nationally recognized, and this is within line item budget.
I was made aware of it, and again, it does look like as far as a public manager, it would be something good for you guys to go through.
I think it would be beneficial to the district.
Yeah. And it is over a pretty long period too, so.
I think it's one class every 2 months or something like that, so. All right, well, I entertain a motion on that line item, or that agenda item.
I'll make a motion to authorize the executive director and support services director to attend the Texas Certified Public Manager Program at a combined cost of $9,730 over a 14-month period.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Thornton,
Second.
have a second by Commissioner Dominic. Have any other discussion or question over that? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 14.2, discuss, consider, and take any action on the purchase of updated furnishings for White House in Jackson Heights, number 2, at a total cost of $9,731.30. Larry? you speak on
Commissioners,
that?
this is part of a planned replacement. This is within line item budget. And some updated warranty information going through this vendor. The recliner frames actually have a lifetime warranty on them. And that it is prorated lifetime warranty. And the upholstery actually has a 5-year warranty.
How do you prorate a lifetime?
I think the lifetime is defined as 20 years, I think is what it is. But it is a really good metal frame, and the kitchen chairs are also metal frame. They're all metal frames.
Okay. All right.
I'll make the motion, we authorize staff to purchase new furnishings for Jackson Heights Station 2 and White House Station 1 from Dream Seat at a total cost of $9,731.30.
Have a motion by Commissioner Dominy to authorize staff to purchase new furnishings for Jackson Station 2 and White House Station 1 at a total cost not to exceed $9,731.30. Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 14.3, discuss, consider, and take any action on purchasing of oil and lubricants from Mansfield Energy at a cost of $5,568.82. Larry?
Commissioners, this is a routine purchase. It is line item budgeted, and it is through our RFP process, and they are the awarded contract vendor.
Is that for a year, or is that just for
This will last us, based on historicals, about 9 months.
time? Okay, all right.
I'll make the motion, we authorize staff to purchase oil and lubricants from Mansfield Energy at a cost of $5,568.82.
Have a motion by Commissioner Dominy to authorize the staff to purchase oil and lubricants from Mansfield Energy at a cost of $5,568.82. Have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Edwards. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries. 14.4, discuss, consider, and take any action on repairing the DEF system on engine 266 at a cost not to exceed $876.86. Authorize the staff to contact Lone Star Truck Group to repair the DEF system on engine 266. Okay, who wants to speak on that one?
I think we'll tag team this one, but Commissioners, this purchase, although we are requesting a not to exceed $20,876.86, we do expect this repair to be around $6,450. That's $6,450. The reason for the additional request is there is a small chance that after the repair is made at that $6,000 level, that additional repairs would be required. We thought it'd be beneficial to come to the board with the potential total impact. And we will only issue the PO for the lower value, and then on contingency have the rest remaining budget available. This is due to an incident in which DEF fluid was being refilled and was accidentally refilled with soapy water. There has been some policy changes that you'll see a bit further down in the agenda item there on how we're dealing with this to prevent it from happening in the future. And I'll let Chief Greaser chime in on this as well.
Yeah, Commissioner, certainly not proud to talk about a dollar loss associated with a mistake. The mistake is oftentimes a culmination of factors. In this case, a DEF fluid tank was utilized to place soapy water in. This particular procedure is kind of circulating the social media as an advantageous method to refill fire extinguishers, the water can pressurized fire extinguishers. We utilize a soapy mixture in those to reduce the surface tension of the water so that it can penetrate wood and materials as such. That led to a situation where a DEF tank did not have DEF fluid in it, the diesel exhaust fluid in it, but rather that soapy water. And so disciplinary procedures have been followed and executed related to that, and the procedures to prevent it for future are in place moving forward. So I certainly don't want to be before you asking for these kind of funds. It has placed us in an unfavorable situation related to apparatus. You know, we don't have a significant reserve fleet, and this put us at a greater disadvantage. That apparatus was actually being borrowed from Noonday to service us in Winona, and now you know, we're at a greater disadvantage without that apparatus and waiting on your approval for such repairs. So this is a complex situation that we definitely want to prevent moving forward.
And Commissioners, the steps to prevent this from occurring in the future have been put into place. The new supply cabinets that you purchased or approved the purchase of at the last meeting have all been delivered. They're all labeled, and staff are aware that they should only be taking new unsealed containers out of those supply cabinets and that nothing else goes back into them. So that should help prevent this in the future.
Is this isolated to a death fluid, or can it be, I mean, can we have other instances where we,
There are other risks, and we've tried to identify those. Foam is another risk, Class A and Class B foam mixtures. So all of that being said, these are all being stored in a sealed containers at this point, outside of the foam, which is a 55-gallon barrel.
I think the most fragile or the most at risk is diesel exhaust fluid, diesel systems today, and the emission standards and these systems, they won't tolerate any kind of contaminants whatsoever. Like with any contaminants, you know, even pure exhaust fluid that has been open to the air has the risk of contaminating a system. So anybody that's drove modern diesel trucks today understands that how important keeping the purities of that diesel exhaust fluid is, maintaining exhaust systems that are exuberant costs like what we're asking for tonight.
It's a mistake, but it sure is a costly mistake.
No doubt.
So Larry, is the $20,876 an absolute max it can cost, or is there risk beyond?
What I asked for the vendor was to quote us worst case scenario, absolute maximum. So this would be, I think they have to drop the in total exhaust system and replace everything. They said the likelihood of that is pretty low, but it is there, and I just wanted y'all to have all of the facts and potential costs in front of you at the same time. So the way that it would work is they would actually make the initial repair. They'd drive it around a little bit and then hook it up to the emissions control system and make sure that it's outputting properly.
And I'll make the motion that we authorize staff to contract Lone Star Trucking Group, make the repairs to the DEF system on engine 266 at a cost not to exceed $20,876.86.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Domney to authorize staff to contract Lone Star Truck Group to repair the DEF system on engine 266 at a cost not to exceed $20,876.86. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Okay. 14.5, monthly support services reports.
Commissioners, I tried to do my summary a little different this time, so you'll see near the bottom some summaries on our metrics for the month. Just some quick announcements. We have obtained our official State of Texas Vehicle Safety Inspection Station license, and we're going to start the month of December running any vehicles through that process instead of outsourcing them. The Fleet Department Resource Allocation SLA policy is still being implemented. We are seeing some increases in productivity, which are reflected in the metrics that you'll see below. The Fleet Parts and Service Specialist is enhancing the operations of the Fleet Department. You'll see that again reflected in the metrics, although they still have some training to do, and they'll still become more and more productive over the next 2 to 3 months. The acquisition of the Winona property is complete, and I'll have an update on the Jamestown project a little later in this meeting. IT staffing, we did have an applicant accept a job offer, so hopefully we'll be back up to full staff here pretty shortly in the next couple of weeks. The administration remodel is progressing pretty well. Paint's going a little slow, but we're about done. I think tomorrow we may be done with paint. You'll see some continued enhancements, like some safety railing around some of the porch areas that are elevated, and some screening around the AC units, kind of round that off. And then I'll be working to introduce a master plan for the administration facility to you, hopefully at the next meeting. The apparatus graphics replacement project, like I said, has kicked off. We've been working with the design team quite frequently over the last couple of weeks, and they're printing graphics tomorrow, and they'll be starting the installation process on Wednesday.
Okay.
As far as the fleet and metrics overview, you'll see we have fleet metrics and then we have fleet maintenance metrics. I know that's a little confusing. The fleet metrics are out of the Samsara system. Right now, we're seeing an apparatus utilization of about 3%. I don't have a lot of a benchmark for you to where we should be in the industry. I'm working on trying to get some of that information for you, and I'll hope to have that at the next meeting. Overall, our harsh events, we're a little above average at 149 events per 1,000 miles driven. And our speeding has decreased from our base level 16% down to 1.58% with the system installed. One thing that does not take into account yet is how many of those are full response speeding, and we'll have those updated later. As the trucks are coming through the shop to do their preventative maintenance, they're wiring the Samsara system into the lights and siren system, so we'll be able to tell if the lights are activated and whether they're in response mode or not, and we'll weed those out of this process. Operations is working to develop a new policy on events to continue improving driver safety using the system. And we have seen various efficiencies gained out of the Samsara system, mainly around fleet diagnostics, hoping that expands to driver counseling. And we have seen some use out of it from complaints and crashes. So being able to have that evidence is pretty good. Any questions on any of the other metrics?
Last month, I think you talked about the open apparatus work orders and the other category, and you were gonna try to narrow that down some, and
I am still, so we're working to reclassify all of those. It's a long process though. What we're doing is the fleet administration specialist is going through each one of those, trying to reclassify what those are and get a little more granularity. So they'll start to improve with time, but it's gonna take a little bit more time. I will say that our technician time on task has improved. I'd like to call out that metric from 75, up to 75 from 48%. And I expect that number to keep increasing. What that's meaning is how much time they're really working on an apparatus versus doing other miscellaneous work.
when you can see it too in the time spent on work order and type of work orders they're working on, and you can tell they're, you know, the preventive maintenance and the right mechanics working on the right stuff and getting the right things done.
That's it.
Good report, I like that one, thank you.
Thank you.
So how are we standing on getting the engines back up? I know, like, one of Noondays had hoses that we're having problems with. How long we're gonna get it be before it's back in service?
I don't have a specific date that will be back in service, but I know it's on the lift right now, being worked on.
No. We're kinda getting in a bind for engines with engines being down, so
We are in that.
we might need to get as fast as we can get one back in service. If we gotta put 2 mechanics on it to get our truck back up, I'm, you know, not saying we let everything else go to crap, but let's make sure we got plenty of engines out there.
And that demonstrates the need for additional reserve apparatus to be in place for a fleet our size. And I think we've got some plans that we'll bring forward to get some additional board meetings.
Well, we get these other trucks in here we're supposed to get, we may have a couple of reserve engines, you know, or be able to get them back up to where they'd be good enough to use as reserve, so.
I agree with you.
So, anyway, all right. Anybody else have any questions for Larry? No? Brad, you got anything? No? All right, 14.6, discuss, consider and take any action on the purchase of additional batteries for the handheld radios at a cost not to exceed $6,288 from Motorola Solutions. Larry, you want to speak on that?
Yes, sir. We're just asking for some additional batteries. We're starting to have some batteries fail. Some of them are under warranty, some of them are not. But even while they're under warranty, it takes some time to get them shipped off and sent back. We need to have batteries in stock to replace with those. These are not specifically line item addressed, but it is within budget.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion on 14.6.
I'll make a motion, we allow staff to purchase 36 batteries from Motorola Solutions to cost not to exceed $6,288.
Have a motion by Commissioner Dominy to allow the staff to purchase 36 batteries from Motorola Solutions at a cost not to exceed $6,288. Do I have a second? Second. Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Item 15, Chief of Operations. Chief of Operations report. Chief Breezer?
President, Commissioners, thank you. Just a couple of highlights off of the report. The live fire training field development project, that's our shipping containers, and the work that we've been doing at the fleet complex is going very, very well. We've already been able to execute some very high-level training within the containers. Although they're not totally finished in terms of where the project can go, they're totally functional at this point in terms of being able to conduct live fire operations in a multi-room complex with ventilation, forcible entry, hose deployment opportunities. So lots of good training that's going related to the containers. And as you know, we spent some funds out of last year's budget towards the tail end. And I just want to report to you that funds have been put to great use. They're already operational, and good work is ongoing there. There are additional desires for improvement so that we could improve the training opportunities on it in future dates, and I look forward to opportunities to present some of those concepts and ideas in future meetings. Report to you that Dozer 222 is in service, or 122 rather, is in service. That's the D3 Caterpillar dozer that we have on lease. It's been fully upfitted at this point in terms of the screening radios, the plow, all the accessories, and it's made its first fire in the last week. So it's been utilized and doing good work for us already. You know, it is quite large on the back of the transport unit, but it does fit and is operating as such at this point. In addition to that, at your request, at the board request, we have the John Deere 450 that's in Mineola at a particular shop that does those kind of upfitting and repairs to a unit of that age and that is set up for firefighting operations, suppression operations like ours is. So we anticipate getting a quote or an estimate back in the next few weeks. So it's not necessarily a quick quote, trying to get a comprehensive package on what it would take to renovate that piece of equipment, whether or not that's cost effective, and be able to present to you some numbers in a future meeting related to that. But certainly it has the potential to be repaired. It's just whether or not that's cost effective, and we'll have some numbers for you to consider potentially even by the 18th is my hope for you to be able to do that. The Dodge chassis that we purchased, Brush 222, is underway and making great progress. A lot of hard work has been ongoing related to that. The body is on there. I've shared that in Friday reports, some pictures of that. Have the skid unit on order and awaiting its delivery in the first quarter or so of 2024. But the chassis and the upfitting and the things that were approved in that concept are ongoing, and really proud of the work that has been committed to that project and where that will be and the asset that it'll be for the district. Previously, we discussed the Engine 122 is the Pierce Enforcer that we purchased back in April, May timeframe. I guess it was May. It has delivered. It is at the shop and is getting tool upfits on it, and including radios at this point. So it is at Fleet and at our shop, and that work is ongoing to get it ready to go in service with a anticipated push-in ceremony that I would certainly be honored if each of you from the board would attend, and the history that goes into why a push-in wash-down ceremony and what that symbolizes to the fire service and what we do. So hope to announce that soon as we get a little closer related to the upfitting of tools and equipment on it. I did notate in there, and I hope to be able to bring before you for consideration as I presented to you the apparatus plan from a concept of purchasing dollars. Been able to locate 2 demo units, and look forward to presenting those to you and for consideration. Also have been doing some comprehensive work about where each of the apparatus will go, and how building out of that reserve fleet that we just mentioned a moment ago, how that will look with all of the apparatus in place. And so I've got that ready for your consideration. Probably the 18th, I'll be ready to present that to you as a more comprehensive plan. As was reported just a moment ago, related to recruiting. And so just a little bit more specifics related to recruiting. We did have 22 applicants. Only 7 of those had the qualifications that we required, that we ask of in the job announcement. One of which has gone through the process before, certainly eligible to come back through the process. Two additionally were only requesting part-time, so there's some discrepancies in what's really there in the total numbers. But I'm guesstimating that there's about 6. We've done nothing more than just receive the applications and review them. And so I look forward to further discussion with each of you related to that. No current deployments for TIFMAS, and certainly wanted to point out some of the ongoing training. Again, the live burning training and the container project. Lucas project, I hope to also have that ready for you for consideration at the 18th meeting. We've met with the vendor for the Lucas CPR machines that we've requested in budget. We also trained with UT Health, and has been ongoing, and we've got another, I think A Shift has their UT Health EMS training that's upcoming. But we were able to train on the Lucas device, the CPR machine device. So that's ongoing and has been very beneficial. I was able to attend myself. That is a sole source vendor that provides that equipment, so I'm able to present to you that hopefully on the 18th for consideration. Certainly have a passion for that and the life-saving that the Lucas CPR machine presents to our citizens that we serve. All right, I think that's, our fire academy is ongoing, our EMT class is ongoing, certainly some good reports coming out of that, and I'm proud of the work that is being accomplished in that regard. I'm available for any questions you might have related to my report.
I know we have Chapel Hill and Troop that we're looking at getting their FRO status updated, and I believe that Troop actually has their certification now, is that correct?
I have not been told that yet.
Chief Logger, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay, so see what we're gonna do with that out there then, please, sir.
Yep.
And then Chapel Hill, do we have anybody for Chapel Hill that updates on where they went?
We're going to get for the inspection. Once the inspection, we should have already done it for it.
Okay, so do you know when you're gonna get the inspection yet? Have they said time?
We're trying to get a hold of Gary now, or he's not answering the phone, so we're working on another way to try and get a hold of him.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Is that all under 15.1? Any other questions? Okay. 15.2, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on approval of Target Solutions invoice in the amount of $7,401.12. And that's our online training, is that correct, Chief?
It is. You know, this is the ongoing piece where it's been back and forth, but this is for the all paid EMS certified individuals on Target Solutions. So I have before you the funding request related to that for $7,796.12.
So is that-
Desperately needed from operations to keep track of our training and the assignments that we're able to distribute throughout throughout all of our members, including volunteer members, but definitely an essential piece for keeping up with our EMS certifications and other training.
This is just the EMS portion of it?
That's right.
It's none of the fire, because
Well-
last year it was 15,000, and that included fire and EMS.
That's correct. This particular piece is the missing piece that it was back and forth whether or not it was going to be billed to us. We've reached a position where this is it. It will take us all the way through March, and then we would be into a renewal agreement that would have everything packaged together.
Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion on 15.2.
So is the value that you're requesting $7,401.12 or $7,796.12? That's what your funding request says. And it's also showing that you're going to be
Testing, that would be our recruit testing and promotional testing. And so you've pre-authorized some funding that would put that in a negative position at this moment when you apply that. We have not executed all of those funds in terms of purchase orders, but you have approved our testing and promotional processes related to that.
So which one of these components is over the estimated budget? So we budgeted 20,000 for the year.
Right.
And that had a basis to it, whatever that basis was. And so is the 15,000 over the estimated budget, or is this component
This component really puts us in a conundrum.
Okay.
No doubt.
Because I recall that, unsure about who was going, or how we were going to pay for it. I just didn't know where it stood in the budget. So
Right.
this is the component that is unbudgeted
That's correct.
completely. Okay.
That is correct.
So this is out of budget
Correct.
in its entirety. So what he's really asking us to do is not approve the $2,800 over budget. We're effectively approving the
Correct.
$7,800 over budget, or outside of budget. So, and if you, and I guess I need to go back to the first part of my question, is it $7,400 or is it $7,796?
The invoice is for $77.96. I don't know why that says 74 on the other card.
I think the 74 was just for a single line item within the invoice. Maybe. I would say it needs to be the $7,796.12.
Since it's that way on the agenda, we can vote? Okay, just want to make sure we're not doing something we're not supposed to.
Yes.
No, I mean, I don't disagree with Chief. It is something that we need to go ahead and provide for the training for these gentlemen.
Right.
It's just unfortunate that we're in a position so early that we're already out of budget, but
Right,
we'll have to try to tighten the belt somewhere else. But
yeah.
I'll make the motion that we approve the invoice in the amount of $7,796.12.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Dominy to approve the expenditure of $7,796.12 for Target Solutions for CE for career and volunteers. Second. You have a second?
I do.
Okay, have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. All right. 15.3, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on training requests for T. Smurl and T. Pritchard at a cost of $2,628.25 for officer development funding request and the ODP program. Chief, you want to speak on that?
Yeah, as indicated, the Officer Development Program, this is put on by County Fire Tactics in Pensacola, Florida. Have some previous experience with members of previous life department going to their training. Definitely some benefits to be brought back to the district from developing our officers with some of the tactics and the training that is available to them related to this program. So I'm pleased to present to you a development program for a couple of our members, and I think that the return on the investment, we'll be able to bring it back and also teach additional classes within the organization, and kind of bring back that knowledge and pass it on.
I'll make the motion that we approve the officer development training for the two named individuals at the cost of $2,628.25.
I have a motion by Commissioner Dominy to approve the training cost of $2,628.25 for the officer development, and I have a second.
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Thornton. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. All right, item 16, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on fire chief presenting and discussing issues with the board for future actions. Art, Chief Arnold, you're up. If you have anything you'd like to speak on.
Chief Arnold, before you come up here and you think I'm picking on you, I'd like to make sure that everybody understands that the report has a new component to it. And it's no response and then no volunteer response. And just looking at the raw data that I can see that we have anywhere from 100% to 24% of our incidents in the month that have no volunteer response for the month. And we have Chief Arnold, luckily you're in the top 3 of performance, so that's the reason I'm doing this beforehand instead of after the fact. I don't want you to think I was picking on you again. But you know, we're averaging 60% of our incidents without volunteer firefighters' participation. And this goes back to the importance of our recruiting and retention of personnel. I mean, that's the reason that I ask about it pretty well every time we come in here. Is, you know, what are we doing? How are we doing?
Yep.
And it is trying to make sure that we have a level of participation from each one of our volunteer fire departments.
Some of that may be, Brent, because of the FRO deal this month. For the departments that were not current.
Right.
So, but Art was current, so anyway. All right, Chief, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. We have had a couple of new applications. Looking forward to seeing if we can get them on board and get them up to snuff. As far as the responses and where we don't have anybody, it's hard to get people to come to a medical emergency when we're canceled before we even get to the station. And a lot of times, we get notified about the time I see an ambulance going past my house from Troop into ARP. I know I'm not gonna get there in time to do any good. So it's really kind of hard for me to holler at anybody about not getting up for some of these medical calls. It's according to what kind of medical call, but I don't know the answer to that one.
I guess I want to make sure you understand that I know there are circumstances, and that's not at all what
Yeah.
I'm implying, is that, and it's just the raw data. And, you know, the information is really there for us to be able to assess whether or not we have issues or where we have issues and how to deal with them. I mean, I understand that whenever you get canceled, you get canceled, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Most of the times, a lot of our guys, if they have a radio left, they will turn on their radio rather than going to the station because they can listen to our crews, check en route and everything and listen to what's going on. And they determine whether they need to respond to the station immediately or not. Now, that's not really the way we set it up to do, but that's the way they're doing it. And I'm not going to complain about it because I think we're still doing pretty good on our responses.
So again, I brought it up beforehand to make sure that you knew that I wasn't specifically picking on you. It's just want to make sure everybody understands it. But, I mean, if we're talking about the 25, 30% of no responses because there's the medical responses, then okay, but when we're talking about 100%, and I know that's not you, but I mean, we've got a real issue if we have 100% of the calls in the month that have not been, we have no responses.
Well, I understand that. But everything in ARPS is okay as far as I know, unless y'all bring something to my attention. And I did give JD the minutes where the board gave me approval to sign off on transferring our property. And I'm going to go to the bank as soon as deer season's over and get all the titles to the trucks and bring them to you. But I'm fixing to hunt first.
Chief
All right, Chief Riley?
Good afternoon.
How are you?
As far as our report goes, looking at some of the no responses that we had, one of them was the crew was already out on another call, so the call got bumped to the next closest department to respond. There are two that are within the same weekend. That was a weekend that we had no coverage. The next closest department was providing coverage, so they did respond to the call. It was known ahead of time that we weren't going to have any coverage. And then the last one was a dispatch but canceled prior to going into route. So they were dispatched but then immediately canceled. So that counts as a no response, even though there were people present to respond to the call. As far as our numbers, in the last month or month and a half, we've brought on 3 new members. And then we did a big kind of recruiting push here lately, and we've had 6 to 7 potential new applicants. So we're in the vetting process now, doing interviews and checking into certifications to hopefully add to our numbers. There is lots of training that's going on at the moment. We just had 6 people that completed vertical rescue training out of Mineral Wells. We had additional certifications added to our roster: driver, operator, pumper. 2 folks that are in instructor classes right now. 2 that are in EMT school, and 1 that's in ECA school. This weekend we have Magic on Main that's coming up, so that's with the city. It's the parade, it's the vendors, it's the tree lighting ceremony with Santa Claus and so on. So we've met with the city and the police department to kind of organize all of our objectives to make sure that everybody's represented and we're all working on the same page together, because it'll be quite busy with foot traffic and needs of the public that's going to be there. And then finally, I wanted to just mention that we were approved for a fire equipment grant through Texas Forest Service for $20,000. And so our board has already approved, my board has already approved purchasing of equipment. So we've started adding equipment to the truck, such as a battery operated RAM and battery operated PPV fans and so on. So other than that, do you have any questions for me? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Chief Peterson?
Yes, and our, like I say, our reports that you're showing, most of us, since we don't have our FRO, we have been told not to run any medicals at all. So that's where we're probably getting a lot of percentage why we're so low. But we still have been running some of the other calls as well, so we're still picking up on the fact we got a few officers out there don't want us to run on the rigs either. So that's kind of talked some of the guys down not running rigs as well, because they said we're not supposed to make patient contact. So that's why we see our numbers are down lower. But we are going to start running more once we get our FRR going up as well. We've been, also, like I said, we had some control burns. We've been helping out on our area. We had, the staff did help us on that part. It does help out. The staff is there, making it a little bit easier for us in some of these medical calls. I also have one firefighter completed the firefighter 2 through SFMA. She's going to be taking her final test here, I think, within another couple of weeks or so. So she'll be getting that done. And I also have one of them, firefighter completed his Officer 1 class. And he said his thanks for Officer, actually, Battalion Chief Ben Wentwickle helped out to get his skills done on that so he can complete that. And then I got 2 of them that just completed their ISO, Incident Officer Training. They just, in fact, took their final test today, and they both passed on that as well. And like I said, we do have 3 guys in the academy through the ESD as well. And then also, we do have a grant that we have for our recruiting, which we're going to make out flyers and try to get a banner and a table. We're going to start pushing that for more recruiting as well. So we did get a grant for that, $3,000 we're going to spend. And then also, we got this Saturday to be our banquet for our fire department for this year, honoring. Got any question?
No. Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Anybody here from Dixie?
Dixie called me, he got called way off to do a job, so.
Okay, all right. All right, Chief Stone, Point Gresham.
Well, I really don't have a whole lot this time, but I do have a question for Larry. On the shift manager, is it messed up right now?
I don't know if they're keeping track on it on shift manager or not, back in, back now. I don't know.
Okay, because like I said, it hasn't been showing accurate crews, and so we don't know if we need to send people up to fill shifts or.
That's probably because they've stopped having to use the punch in, punch out, and they're using UKG now. So that was part of the old timekeeping system.
So is there something y'all can do that will help us with that so we know we're covered?
Are you speaking to a specific incident where there wasn't coverage?
No, but like I said, there's been several times it's just showed one at Flint, and I didn't know if I need to call in volunteers to cover.
I think
I
anytime.
mean, I was pretty sure, but you know what, assume gets you too.
I do, but Chief, you have a battalion in your station. If you have any questions, just please, or call my office direct. I mean, anytime,
Well, like I said, it's just nice to be able to look at it and see it.
for sure.
So, but do y'all have any questions for me?
Okay. All right, thank you. Jackson Heights, Chief Thompson.
Good afternoon. For community outreach, we participated in the Harvest Festival at the Betty's Learning Center. We also had our trunk or treat at our station, which was a huge success. We had people show up after we shut it down, so we were still able to accommodate those kids that showed up. We also did fire prevention at Jackson Elementary. With the help of Brookshires and some of the area churches, we were able to feed 53 needy families for Thanksgiving. For training, we had 2 people complete training, CPR training at Winona Station. I have one that has completed the support cert as deemed by SFFMA. I've got 2 individuals that applied, have completed background checks, and I'm expecting 1 more application for a recruit. Have any questions for me?
Sound like you're starting to get some people interested out there again, so that's good.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Terrence.
You're welcome.
Chief Harper?
Good afternoon. I really don't have anything unless y'all have got any questions for noonday. We turned in an application this evening to Ms. Sherry. And we also have applied for the recruitment grant, just waiting on that, but we've already ordered banners and some other material.
Okay. All right. So you got one application you turned in?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. Red Springs. Raymond, how are you?
Right now, we don't have too much to report, but I can say that we are in the middle of course, getting another chief. We have one application that's been turned in as of right now, and hopefully starting this next month, you should see a big improvement in Red Springs. So we're working hard to try to get our numbers up and get people's, we got server that's actually has EMT and all the certifications. We just got to get them closer to starting running. So we're looking up as of this time.
All right. Thank you. Troop, Chief Mauger.
I got one EMT that has done his skills and passed those. He's supposed to take his nationals next month, so I'll have another one on board as far as EMTs go. Our runs, we've been running what we can. We've medical calls, my guys were told that we need to kind of back off and wait. So most of the runs that we've run on have been daytime runs anyway, so a lot of my people are working at that time. We've got our FRO in, just found that out today. I would like to request that in the very near future, put the side-by-side on agenda. I know we have a lot of apparatus that we're doing right now, but if we get that thing put on there pretty soon, maybe we can get it in here before the fire season starts. And we can also use it for our GSAR team.
Okay. All right.
I've been pretty patient, but it doesn't seem like anything happens unless you say something, so I'm saying something now, so maybe it'll get the damn board on the job.
Okay. All right.
Any questions for me?
No? I think so. Thank you. Chief Champion?
Hadn't had any new applications for the past month. I've got two that used to be on the department that's inquired with me in the last couple of weeks. One of them actually, the other day I talked to him, he's just retired from Longview. He's gonna take off for till after the first of the year. Then come back to me and talk to me some more. Outside of that, I won't have nothing new.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Chief Allen?
As you see there, we've been doing our monthly trainings. We had CPR. We got 4 more guys renewed on their CPR. We're hoping to hear back from our FRO, and Paula may have heard back already, but I hadn't spoke with her today, so.
Okay.
Unless you have anything else for me?
So no new applicants or anything? No prospects or anything?
And we had 2 new applicants finally get all their stuff done, finally made it to IT, but I think that was technically approved last month.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Item 17 will be closed session. The board will convene in closed session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.071, 551.072, and about 074. No action shall be taken while the board is in closed session. Any final action, final decision, or final vote shall be taken after the board reconvenes in open session, and we are in closed session at 7:25.